Welcome back to Wayne TV from the flight line. First of all, the first question we have to ask, what's your name?
Seth Johnston.
Seth Johnson. What's your rank at Seymour Johnson?
Tech sergeant.
All right. What do you do?
Well, I'm ammo, so I work with anything that we know of, that you guys know of, maybe from the small stuff, the bullets, all the way to the real fun stuff, big bombs, missiles, all the fun stuff in between.
The fun stuff, right? So how did you get involved in the Air Force, first of all?
Well, I ended up doing a year of college out of high school, and it wasn't quite what it was meant for me, my path at the time. So after that year, kind of talking to the parents, they said, well, you're either going to have to move out and get a job or something else. So I remember going down to the recruiter's office with my dad and kind of looked at the options there. Air Force looked like it was going to be the best for me, and ended up getting into the delayed enlistment program there for about a summer. Worked up until then, and then joined up.
Awesome. How long have you been in?
It will be this month on the 17th. Will be 11 years.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Where are you from originally?
Colorado.
Okay.
Little town called Bailey, up in the mountains.
All right.
So.
Do you miss Colorado at all?
Oh, every day. Every day.
It's a special place.
Absolutely. So.
And so Seymour Johnson, I assume that's not your first base. Where all have you been so far?
No, it's actually will be my fifth.
Okay.
So when the first station I was at was South Korea, Osan, South Korea. After that, I went to Kadena in Okinawa, Japan. Third base was Camp Darby in Italy, near Pisa. Mm-hmm. And my fourth place was Lakenheath in the United Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
And then here we are, fifth base.
So this is like your first U.S. stateside base, right?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive, because there are a lot of people that never go outside the country, and you've done the opposite.
Yeah, there's a lot of, some jealous looks, some jealous comments, they say, but I got lucky enough to stay, and it was about 10 years, almost a little bit over 10 years, and I figured it's time to maybe be a little closer to the family, a little cheaper plane tickets maybe to come home.
So it's not going to offend us if you say Seymour Johnson was not your favorite, but out of those international stops, what had to have been your favorite?
It'd be hard to say. I think for culture alone, Japan was one of my favorite. However, I would say England is, I love England, and there's different reason for that one. That's also where my wife is from.
Oh, okay.
So I think I got to experience, there's a lot more things I got to experience probably in England than I may have in Japan. So, but it'd be a hard tie, I think.
Yeah. All right, so talk about a little bit of a normal day, what it's like in ammo. We hear ammo, but what really is, and I know that no 2 days are probably the same, but what is it that you guys do on a day-to-day basis?
Basically, we are facilitating the training for the aircraft around base and anybody else that requires our support. So whatever it is, it depends on what the jets are flying, whatever else anybody else needs. We basically build, maintain, deliver, supply, inspect anything in relation to any of those items that are explosive or in our kind of our wheelhouse, just anywhere on base. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And a very integral part to the mission as well.
Absolutely.
So what got you into ammo? Is that something you came in wanting to do? Is it something that was given, but have you fallen in love with it?
Well, I think when we first go in, there gives about a paragraph description of our career field, and I'm not gonna lie, about 19-year-old me, they made that paragraph sound really, really cool. They said you're gonna test all kinds of stuff, and maybe it's not quite as glamorous as it was in that paragraph, which I guess is the design.
Yeah.
But after a few years in, there's been some unique stuff I've been able to do within ammo and just the Air Force in general that's kept me here. So.
And do you get to test the ammo?
Not in the sense that initially got me in there. So, yeah, not quite that.
Well, that's awesome. So, what all have you done so far in your Air Force career? Have you taken advantage of any of the free things that the Air Force has to offer?
Well, I've done quite a few things. I've been lucky enough so far. I've earned my associates.
Awesome.
I was lucky enough to be able to do that. Working on right now, not finishing that up, starting down that track for a bachelor's degree as well. Take advantage of kind of some of the traveling the world elsewhere, not just the bases, some of the temporary duty assignments that I've been on, and other opportunities like that, and it's been really good.
I always like to ask that question because there's so many people who have used the money that they have available to them to go get the bachelor's and things like that. So we always got to talk about that stuff. If you were talking to somebody that was sitting, in high school, or maybe they don't know what they want to do with their life, what would you say has been the biggest, thing for you for the Air Force?
Well, I mean, I guess out of high school, I kind of went with the conventional route that says I definitely want to go to college. I had a plan at the moment. And after a year, I basically ended up, I didn't know I didn't know what I wanted to do. So what the Air Force afforded me, I've met, biggest thing is the number of people from around the world that I have met. I mean, like I said, I've been stationed alone in 4 other countries. I've learned what I like to do. I learned what other people like to do, how the world works. You know, it makes me appreciate, you know, here in the U.S., but also around the world. So that's been amazing. The opportunities for education, obviously. I mean, even just not necessarily degree programs, but just the type of things that you're learning around the world. And in the end of the day, this isn't something I ever would have thought that I was going to do. There's no way, not in a million years. But you know, here we are. I've found something that I like to do, and that it's challenging.
Yeah,
so, no,
absolutely. So you said your wife is from England.
Yes.
What do you like to do in your spare time with the wife?
Well, we actually, one of the things that kind of drew us together, I found a fellow video gamer. So she loves that. I remember lots of memories of us playing Halo. So, because we actually met prior to me going to England, so that was one of the ways we kind of got together and kind of learned about each other and stuff like that. But big outdoors as well. Obviously from Colorado in the mountains, love it. The beach, I don't discriminate, mountains and beaches.
You're much closer to the beach now than you were in Colorado.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a little bit less of a drive.
Exactly.
So the lakes are a little cold there, so. But and then outdoors, and then like I said before, video games. Big avid reader, and I also like to go to the range.
That's great.
So, yeah.
So you do get to at least at least test the ammo on your personal time, right?
Well, unfortunately, not from the base.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Yeah. So while we're talking about ammo, what would be your favorite ammo to deal with?
My favorite ammo to deal with would be the 30 millimeter shell. Well, not shell, but project. And basically, and I say that it's tied to my favorite airframe. That'd be the A10. I love it. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see fly. It's fun to work with, and there's pretty good amount of satisfaction watching those aircraft work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so when you're out and about in Goldsboro, you've been here for a little bit. Favorite place to eat?
You know, I believe is.
I really just ask this question all the time, so I know where to go for lunch.
Oh yeah. So. I think what we found so far, you know, I can't claim to I've made my rounds a whole lot, but Jay's Sushi and Burgers.
Oh yeah.
There's special place for there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Favorite music?
Favorite music. I am kind of a two kind of very different types of music. I'm a bit of a metal fan, and then also like the total other end of the spectrum, I guess you could call it, is classical.
Okay.
So,
yeah. All over the place.
Yeah.
That's great. And then, so now that you've been in Goldsboro for a little bit, what would you say that something special about Seymour Johnson has been?
So it's kind of twofold. I think partially it's not directly Seymour Johnson, but it's in the fact that it's in the United States. For starters, there's a lot of unique to me. You know, I haven't been in here for almost 10 years, but it's another new place, another new challenge. I have some similar job requirements here that I had in England, so it's kind of a new place to be and kind of learn and get better with my job. And I don't know much, unfortunately, as of yet. I can say I haven't explored North Carolina yet, but I'm really looking forward to, because I haven't been much on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You still get to go back to Colorado much?
Actually, I'm not sure how much I will. My parents recently moved from there.
Oh.
So if I do, it'll be for other reasons. But
like the skiing, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What do you see for yourself in the future in the Air Force? You gonna stay in a little while longer?
Well, I've made it here so far almost 11 years.
Yeah.
I think I've enjoyed my time. I've learned a lot, and I think there's a lot more I can get out of the Air Force, and probably something I can give back as well. So at least right now, it's looking like, knock on wood, make it to at least the 20-year mark.
Yep.
And see what happens after there. If that's the time to get out, that's the time to get out. And if not, I'll ride it out a few more years.
There you go. Was there anything else that I left out you'd like to talk about? I think we pretty much got a nice little Spark Notes version of your life, right?
I think we did. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it, and thanks for your service.
Thank you.